Tonight, a case out of Buffalo, New York, involving a city garbage truck, a morning school commute, and a teenager whose injuries have continued for more than a year. Prosecutors say a former city driver reversed a heavy truck the wrong way on a one-way street and struck a 17-year-old pedestrian. The driver has now been sentenced to probation. The teen, according to his attorney, remains hospitalized, paralyzed from the waist down, after an amputation and more than 30 surgeries. This report is based on statements from the Erie County District Attorney's Office and public comments from attorneys involved in the case. The driver is Sasiya Davis-Johnson, 48, a former Buffalo Department of Public Works garbage truck driver. In October, she pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges, third-degree assault and reckless driving. On Thursday, she was sentenced to 3 years of probation. The Erie County District Attorney's Office said she had faced up to 364 days in jail under the misdemeanor counts. The victim is a 17-year-old boy. Prosecutors say he was crossing Rhode Island Street when the collision happened. His attorney says the injuries have been catastrophic and permanent. October 2, 2024, about 8:16 a.m. It is the beginning of the school day across Buffalo. Children are already in class or on the way, and many neighborhoods are at their busiest, according to the district attorney's office. Davis-Johnson was operating a Buffalo Department of Public Works, a garbage truck near the intersection of Rhode Island Street and 14th Street. That area includes a one-way street. Prosecutors say Davis-Johnson placed the truck into reverse and backed the vehicle in the wrong direction on that one-way street. At roughly the same time, prosecutors say a 17-year-old boy was crossing Rhode Island Street. The garbage truck struck him, authorities say. Davis-Johnson recklessly caused physical injuries to the teen. The boy's attorney, Charles Desmond, told reporters the truck weighed about 60,000 pounds. He said it ran the teen over and then moved forward and ran over him again. According to local ABC affiliate WKBW, 14 months later, Desmond said the teenager remains in the hospital. He is paralyzed from the waist down. He has had a leg amputated, and he has undergone more than 30 surgeries. What has not been released in the brief public summaries is a full technical reconstruction, including the truck's exact path and a complete set of witness statements. Those details can matter in cases like this because they help answer questions about visibility, timing, and procedure. But they often surface later through civil discovery, expert review, and additional filings. The criminal case moved first. In October, Davis-Johnson pleaded guilty to third-degree assault and reckless driving, both misdemeanors. The district attorney's office said she received a reduced plea deal. Prosecutors also noted that the offer was made with the consent of the victim. On Thursday, the court sentenced her to 3 years of probation. The district attorney's office emphasized that jail was possible under the misdemeanor counts, and the sentence ultimately imposed was probation. Probation typically includes court supervision and conditions. Violations can bring additional penalties. At the sentencing hearing, Davis-Johnson's attorney argued for leniency. The defense said she had never been in trouble before and that she was remorseful. Separate from the criminal case is the civil case. In January, the teen's family sued the city of Buffalo, Davis-Johnson, and another city worker. WKBW reported, "A civil lawsuit is not about guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It is about responsibility and damages, medical costs, long-term care, disability, and other losses tied to a life-changing injury." In public comments, Desmond suggested that crash may have been compounded by systemic failures. He alleged the city did not properly train Davis-Johnson. He also alleged there was a spotter in the garbage truck who could have been outside guiding and watching behind the vehicle, but did not get out. And he said Davis-Johnson did not order him out. Desmond also said the backup camera on the truck was broken and disabled. Those are allegations raised by the victim's attorney. They have not been independently confirmed in the limited public material summarized by prosecutors. Still, they point to a broader accountability question. whether multiple safety layers failed during a higher-risk maneuver. The district attorney's office said Davis-Johnson is no longer employed by the City of Buffalo Department of Public Works. This is not a diagnosis. It is a human factors lens on how higher-risk incidents can occur in routine municipal work. 1. Routine can narrow attention. When a job is repetitive, people can rely on habit. A driver may focus on completing the route, keeping pace, avoiding delays, and the brain can treat familiar streets as low risk. But the environment can change in an instant, especially near schools, where pedestrians may be distracted, moving quickly, or stepping into a crosswalk with limited warning. 2. Heavy vehicles reduce the margin for error. A garbage truck has blind spots, limited rear visibility, and significant stopping distance. Reversing is inherently risky, and a wrong-way reverse on a one-way street adds another layer of unpredictability for anyone outside the cab if a backup camera was not functioning. As the victim's attorney alleged, that removes a key source of situational awareness. And if a spotter is not used, it removes another layer meant to compensate for what the driver cannot see. 3. Systems shape individual choices. Training, supervision, maintenance standards, and safety culture influence what workers do and what they believe is acceptable. If safety equipment is allowed to stay out of service, or if spotter practices are inconsistent, risk can become normalized. That does not erase personal responsibility. It highlights why civil courts often examine the system around the moment of impact. Sasiya Davis-Johnson, a former Buffalo Department of Public Works garbage truck driver, has been sentenced to 3 years of probation after pleading guilty to misdemeanor third-degree assault and reckless driving. Prosecutors say she reversed the wrong way on a one-way street and struck a 17-year-old boy during the morning school commute more than a year later. The boy's attorney says the teen remains hospitalized, paralyzed from the waist down. After an amputation and more than 30 surgeries, the criminal case has ended with probation. The civil lawsuit is still pending, and the questions it raises about training, equipment, and safety procedures are likely to be argued there.